Hello, everyone. It's Flawed Guy here. Uh, it's been several weeks since I put up a video. Um, just something that's been bugging me a little bit. Not really bugging me, but just feel like I need to tell people. Is talking about the mark of the beast. I'm sure people have heard that term. Some of you. For those who have not, it's in the book of Revelation, particularly in chapter 13. Um, and I've just been seeing a lot of things recently that I feel like I need to warn those of you that who watch these videos that have relatives that maybe don't know about what's going on in the world, uh, and just to kind of reinforce and encourage and to help those of us who do know what the mark of the beast is or have heard of it as Christians to stay resolute in their convictions to not take the mark of the beast. And, there's been contention and arguments about what that actually is. But for me, my personal line in the sand, if you will, is I'm not going to do anything that even closely resembles the mark of the beast. And also, it's the little compromises we make every day being conformed to the world system, whether you've gone from when I was a kid, we had checks and our parents had checks and then they went away. And then they started using credit cards, and we still have those to some extent, but now they have the chip in it. And if you notice, we've all been conformed to the world system, the beast system, if you will, because the Bible tells us not to conform to the world, but to transform ourselves, uh, to be washed in the water of the word, And so reading the word about this system can help keep in check your tendency to just conform to the world because of that's what the world is doing. I think it's dangerous to keep conforming to the world, to keep staying in a system and not uniting as Christians in a way to help each other like the early church. Um, because we run the risk of just giving in to the point where you're so close, I don't want to give in on anything any worse. So, in the advent of all these things, these smart televisions and smart refrigerators, that just means they're spying on you. Case in point, there's videos out there that show you where people can hack into your smart TV and look at you in your living room. And what's funny is I knew about this in the 80s. As I may have mentioned in other videos, I'm not sure if I did, but there was a book when I was a kid, and I got it from a Baptist Bible bookstore. And I was reading this book, and in that book, I learned of the plan of these folks, these Satanist type people that are in control in the banking system and all over the world, politicians, how they were going to construct this system, just like the Bible speaks of, and how we were going to shop through our televisions and they were going to be able to spy through you through your television. And that was in the 80s. No lie. I told my friends about it. I was in elementary school and into high school. And some of them may even remember me saying that. And they were like, "You're crazy." And subsequently, over the years, I told people all about how they were going to get rid of the money, how you were going to be able to like go up to another person and maybe connect your card together. They hadn't quite figured out how they were going to do it yet. And you could transfer funds into the other person's account. So that stuff's real. That's what's going on, and that's what the system we're being conformed to because we're being told if you don't, you won't have a job, you just won't be able to do anything. And so, with what's going on now with tying our health care to a social credit score like they do in China, like these people want to do, with the smart cities and all that's going on in the world, where you see these cities, which I believe are actually being burned down, like in Hawaii, to make way for smart cities. Um, they want to construct a system where you can't do certain things unless you have permission. You'll be a slave. You are a slave. We are slaves to some extent already. Um, you won't be able to drive your car but so many miles outside the city limits, so they'll deduct it from your social credit or your account, your bank account. Everything will be going to digital currency. Digital can be controlled, it's electronic. That's why they're going to electric cars, because it can be turned off, turned on, taken control of. That's why they got rid of analog radio signals and went to digital signals. Everything can be controlled with electronics, because it's just basically a series of on off. And that's what they're constructing. Your refrigerator will spy on you, your coffee maker will spy on you, your toilet will spy on you and report, how often you do this and do that. And then they can say, well, you're not eating healthy, you've visited here too many times, we're going to deduct X from your account. And that's where we're heading. And I just wanted to kind of just warn everybody, look, stop compromising, draw your line in the sand. I am not getting a chip. That may or may not be the system that the Bible speaks of per se, but it's definitely gearing us towards that. I personally believe we've been, conforming to this way of thinking gradually, turning up the heat as a frog in the water. It doesn't know it's being boiled to death. Uh, you know, Waving your hand in front of the paper towel dispenser, getting people used to waving their hand in front of something when the little hand crank was much easier and more effective to use. You think that's silly? Well, I don't think so. I think it's just getting it into a lifestyle pattern of you conforming. So now that you can wave your hand in front of the, beam at the counter, it's been done with your card. You're being tracked with your phone everywhere. So why not be tracked with a device implanted in your right hand or your forehead, as this Bible speaks of? They're already doing that with RFID systems, which is radio frequency identification. It's like a grain of rice size device. It goes in the palm of your hand, in the meaty part, the fleshy part between your thumb and index finger. They can insert it between your forehead at the hairline, so you can be quickly scanned or walk through a building and just have things automatically be deducted from your account. That is real time. That's being done in countries around the world where convenience stores are on the side of the road. You just walk in, it automatically knows what you're taking. You walk out, no cashiers, no anything, and it deducts it from your account. You go to Walmart, you go to all these stores, they're phasing out cash. There's less cashiers, everything's self check. Every couple of years it goes by, less and less human interaction and more computer interaction, interfacing between the system that they're constructing and want you to conform to. And we are conforming to it. So, as Christians, people need to wake up and decide, how far are you going to conform? Because if you will conform and give in on these little things, how much harder is it going to be to not give in later? Now, hey, I believe God's coming for us and will take us out potentially before this system of Antichrist, but there is a system in place already. And for me, I don't want any part of it. I want to get as far away from this system as possible, guard my heart, and prepare. So I just want to read quickly, just give you a little bit of scripture about this. And I'm starting in Revelation chapter 13. And it says, and they worship the dragon, who is the devil, which gave power to the beast. In this instance, this is the Antichrist, or this man that comes to power during the tribulation, or in the near future on this earth, for those of you who don't know what I'm speaking of. They will worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who's able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. It was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. And here's the patience and faith of the saints. And then it goes on to talk about this second beast, which is another cohort of this future politician, this great charismatic leader. Well, he's going to have basically a religious leader helping him to help deceive millions of people on this world, to help conform them to this system. And it says another beast, that it would be considered the false prophet, coming up out of the earth, had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. So again, Satan gives him his miracle working powers. He exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image of the beast, saying to them that they should make an image of this beast, or the Antichrist, which had the wound by a sword and did live, and had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell except he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now, I wanted to stop briefly about that. A lot of people say, well, the mark is not really an actual thing. Well, I disagree, and I'll tell you why. It says this false prophet causes small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark. If you click on that, as I've mentioned in eSword, or you look at the word, it's a Greek word, charagma. It means a scratch or etching, a stamp as a badge of servitude, or a graven mark. So if I was to reread that, he causes rich and poor, free and bond to get a stamp of servitude, a graven mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So again, this RFID chipping may be a precursor to the actual mark. There are things called transdermal patches that they're talking about that would interface with your skin layers. So that is actually changing and altering the structure of your, natural skin and layers of skin. And the whole point of this I'm trying to get to is that you won't be able to sell or buy anything unless you have this mark. Another thing that a lot of Christians don't reiterate or even teach a lot about is it's not just the mark is one thing. You can get this etching, you can get this mark, okay? But it goes on to say you can get the name of the Antichrist or the beast, whatever his name is going to be. And it's interesting in that numerically his name adds up to 666. So it goes on to say, or you can get the number of his name. So either way, whatever this Antichrist, this world leader decides is going to be his brand, you will get an etching or a graving basically saying, I submit and I am your servant. I serve you, Antichrist. You're going to be given a choice. All of us will have a choice. You will get the mark or the engraving, or you will get the name of this man, whatever that is, and or you will get the number of his name. And it goes on to say, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, I would say this. It's also pointless to speculate and start adding up numerically, which cultures do, and names have numerical values. This man's name will have a numerical value of 666. Other people, you can do whatever you want with numbers and come up with all kinds of people who could fit the bill. The Bible doesn't say who it's going to be. It just says that the numerical value of this person's name is going to be 666. You can either take his name, the number 666, or the etching. It's going to be one of those three. And what's interesting is as I said, we've been programmed, we've been being programmed through TV to accept this system gradually all of our lives, getting rid of credit card checks to credit cards, the debit cards, online banking. Everybody's doing it, and it's not even a thought. God's just going to whisk us out of here. I personally want to take a little more caution and guard my heart against this because it's so easy to conform. And we think, just like Peter, I will never do this against you, Jesus. I'll never, I'll never, I'll never. And then he did. And I don't want that for anybody. I'll never take the mark. I'll never. And yet we're kind of giving into every little thing that leads up to it, aren't we? And God forbid we were left here and miss the catching away or the rapture of the church and are left here. If we compromised up until this point and we were left here, we really going to have enough in us to withstand against what's coming? And to just give you another little pointer, I know many of you have seen this, but the Monster Energy, like Pepsi, a lot of our corporations have been infiltrated with evil people. They're indoctrinating their employees with a bunch of things that aren't godly. God only knows what they're putting in their products that we eat and drink every day. If you think these people wouldn't do harm to us, well, I would challenge you. If people will kill babies and cut them in pieces and use them for parts and experimentation just for money or just for getting their kicks and power to, come up with some grotesque thing in a lab or whatever, why would they care about us that are alive? Why would they care about us that consume their products? Why would they care about us? You don't think they would have the ability or the wherewithal or the mindset to poison us slowly? Why is that such a conspiracy theory? They kill the most innocent human beings. Why would they care about all these other things that they can do? Just think about that, okay? For instance, the Pepsi has that Monster Energy, and people watch that car driving around NASCAR week after week and all the little things. And if you look at it, I believe it's true. I believe they're messing with people, putting it in our heads. The three claw marks of the monster really does look like the Hebrew sixth letter of the alphabet, which has a numerical value of 6. It's called Wall, I believe is the pronunciation. You can look it up. Sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. There's 3 claw marks on the can, so that would be 3 sixes. And isn't it funny, I guess, if you want to be a conspiracy theorist? I'm not even going to go there. Just use your logic. Use your brain. 3 letters of the alphabet in Hebrew, which is numerically 6, and it makes 666. And they say, unleash the beast. We're talking about the beast or the Antichrist. His number is 666. Oh, what a coincidence. It's on the can, 3 sixes. Now it's in the center of an eyeball. Go figure, like the Illuminati stuff we always hear about. There's always an eyeball, a pyramid with an eyeball in it on the back of the dollar bill and all this kind of stuff. And, you look at the monster part on the can and it says it's got a Christian cross basically there. And then when you drink the can and tilt it up, the cross is upside down just to blaspheme and just make mockery of God, And that's what the Antichrist does. And they want to unleash the beast. I mean, come on, man. These people have been doing this for years in the advertising and the things we hear and think and see through that television, that box that's going to be spying on, and is spying on people as we speak. And yet we conform to having one in our home every day. We conform to continuing to watch and see and do the things that these people want us to do. So I would just wanted to say as a warning to my fellow Christians, please take heed to yourselves, to your lives. Take an accounting of what we're doing and know where your line is. And it's going to be difficult if we decide not to go along with this. And God has to provide for us, and we have to be aware that things may not be as they've always been. We might not have and be able to do the things that we've been doing all these years. And are we going to come to the aid of our fellow brothers and sisters? And for those of you who want to research this, just look in the Bible in chapter 13 of Revelation. But uh, just know this, that there is a system where this future antichrist, world leader, charismatic leader, uh, who is just opposed to God in every facet, is going to construct a system where you cannot buy or sell. And it's already being done all over the world. It's being set up. This person will embrace this system and maybe construct it to his purposes. Again, his symbol, his name, and the number 666 are all viable options. And once you take that, once you get that etching, you will not ever go to heaven again. You have chosen, you've made up your mind, you're going to serve the Antichrist and the one that gives him his power, and that's the dragon or the devil. So God is warning and pleading for people to be aware and to not be a part of the system, whatever that is. So keep on guard, everybody. Be aware. Don't conform to the world. Start getting closer to God, preparing to get on the ark, so to speak, and not wanting to look back at this earth. And let's pray for one another. And I appreciate you listening to me, and I hope to get to some more videos real soon. Thanks. Bye.